This is the remediation video for conditional statements for geometry. What are you going to learn in this video? You're going to learn the difference between conditional statements, converse, inverse, contrapositive, and biconditionals, and we'll talk a little bit about truth values. So first, for the test, the retake, you need to memorize these symbols in the order that they go in for the different statements. So conditional is P, Q, converse is Q, P. Okay, so P, Q, Q, P. Inverse is negative P, negative Q. Contrapositive is negative Q, negative P. And then biconditional, bi means two. So it's going to be a P and then an arrow in both directions. So para el retake necesitas memorizar esta tabla. Es PQ, QP, negativo P, negativo Q, negativo Q, negativo P. Y después otro bicondicional significa tienes una flecha que tiene en las dos direcciones. So es P y Q con dos flechas. Okay, and if we're going to do an example, I will do if, then. Okay, that's what the arrow means. So all these arrows, arrow, arrow, all of those are if, then, if, then, if, then. The last one, it's not if, then, it's in the middle is if and only if. So if I do an example, if tomorrow is Thursday, then it is a red day. Okay, so this will be the P, this will be the Q. So now for converse, we're going backwards. So ahora para converse necesitamos escribir al revés porque ahora es Q y después P. So I'm just going to switch it. If it is a red day, then tomorrow is Thursday. So again, converse just means to flip it. So converse solo significa necesitas voltear la oración. Okay? Inverse is where we start with the negatives. So we're going to take P, but we're going to do the opposite. So tomorrow, if tomorrow is not Thursday, then it is not a red day. Okay, so both of those are negative. So los dos son negativos or el opuesto de original. Okay, contrapositive, same thing, but we're going to go backwards. So if it is not a red day, then tomorrow is not Thursday. And it's a contrapositive. The last one, we just start with the statement. There is no if then. So for this one, if dot 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 then dot 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 that is wrong. It does not exist. Okay. This would be tomorrow is Thursday if and only if it is a red day, period. Okay, so the best thing you can do for the retake is to memorize this table. So necesitas memorizar esta parte de la tabla. P, Q, Q, P, negative P, negative Q, negative Q, negative P. Conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive. Okay, and again, so when you start your retake, you can just draw a little table like this. Okay, and it's always C, C, I, C. So it's conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive. And then it's P, Q, Q, P, negative P, negative Q, negative Q, negative P. Okay, so we'll do two examples and then be done. So first, you need to identify P and Q of the original statement. So el primer paso es que necesitas identificar la P y la Q de la oración original. Okay, so I have right here, the first part is always P, second part is Q. If, then, is an arrow. Okay, so now we're going to practice identifying what part is what part. So here it says it is not a right angle. Right angle. So look, right angle, right angle. So I know that this is Q. Okay, but it's negative. I then have if then, so it's going to be an arrow. And then this part, angle does not have a measure of 90 degrees. Okay. This one was a not. This is also a not. Measure of 90, measure of 90. So that's negative P. Okay. So I have negative Q, negative P. So en este ejemplo, tenemos negativo Q y después negativo P. So if I go to my chart, negative Q, negative P, that is the contrapositive. Okay. So for this example, the answer is contrapositive. That one's done. Okay, now we can do the next one. It is a right angle. That's Q. Angle has a measure of 90 degrees. That's P. So this one is Q and then P. Go to the chart. QP is converse. So this one is converse. All right, next one. Angle has a measure of 90 degrees. And then it is a right angle. So that would be P and then Q. Notice this part, if and only if, is when you have the arrows in both directions. Okay, so that would be a biconditional. So recuerda, si tienes las palabras sí y solo sí, así significa bicondicional. So biconditional. Okay, angle does not have a measure of 90. It is not a right angle. Okay, so that would be negative P. This is negative Q. So negative P, negative Q. Again, look at the chart. Negative P, negative Q is inverse. So this one would be inverse. Okay, that's how you can practice breaking it down. So it's always best draw a box and then identify. Is that from the P or the Q of the original problem? So es mejor necesitas dibujar una caja alrededor de la información y identifica si es la P o la Q de la oración original. And then tú puedes determinar si es negativo or no. Okay, now we're going to do example number 2. And this is where the statement is given and then we have to write the different types of conditionals. So aquí tenemos una oración, necesitamos identificar la P y la Q, y después necesitamos escribir el converse, inverse, contrapositive, biconditional. So first, we're going to remember that this is the conditional statement. So ese es condicional. So that means that este es P, so that means this is P, and this is Q. Converse is Q, P. Inverse is negative P, negative Q. Contrapositive, negative Q, negative P. And then the biconditional is P, arrows in both directions, Q. Okay, now we can write it. So the arrow is if, then. Okay, so first we have Q. This is Q. if the sum of the angles is 180 degrees, then P, then the two angles are supplementary. That is the converse. Okay, now we're going to do the inverse. Okay, the inverse is negative P. So P is blue. La P es azul. This one right up here. But it's going to be the opposite. So, again, the arrow, la flecha significa si. Entonces. So, if the two angles are not supplementary, then negative Q, the sum of the angles is not 180 degrees. That's the inverse. Okay, next we're doing contrapositive is negative Q and then negative P. Again, the arrow means if, then. So negative Q, if the sum of the angles is not 180 degrees, then, now we're doing negative P, then the two angles are not supplementary. All right, and the last one is the biconditional. So remember, biconditional, if and then does not exist. So if then no existe and bicondicional. Okay, so we're going to do P first. So P is blue. So two angles are supplementary. The arrow means if and only if. And then now we're going to do Q, which is yellow. Ahora podemos poner la Q porque ese es amarillo. Then the sum of the angles is 180 degrees. And that's it for these examples. So please make sure before you retake that you memorize this chart.